What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. I get a lot of questions about my buttons on my devices, and I get them from all over the place. Some different Etsy accounts send them to me, sometimes I order them myself, but I do like putting new devices and kind of giving everything a facelift. It's really unique to have these devices right now. People always ask questions if you have these out in public of what you got, things like that. And I think it's kind of even cooler just to make it look a little bit more something just for you. So I like doing the buttons. But I do get a lot of questions on how to do that, as well as I get questions on doing speakers in the Miyoo Mini. So I'm not actually going to exchange a speaker, but I'll show you where to do it because it's right next to the buttons. Real simple process. But yeah, this is going to be a little different video than I normally do. But why don't you sit back, relax, and we'll try to get these done here for you so that maybe this will help you out in the future. Let's roll. Brings back some old memories filming on this mat. This is what I used to film all my videos on when I first started, or when I first came back. Probably won't need a smudger, but we'll grab one just in case. Alright, so you do need a screwdriver. It is a 00 on the back here. First thing though you need to do before you even pull the battery out is remember to remove your memory card, because that is not going to be in a good place. Then we're just going to remove our battery real quick. Not too bad. Oh, you know what I do need? Is my dog to stop itching back there because she's making all kinds of noise. I did forget to grab a tweezers. I can't remember which one of these tweezers I used, but we'll figure it out as we go here. Alright, so you have 6 screws on the back. You got 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. Pretty simple. When you do order button kits, a lot of times it will come with this screwdriver, and you can see it's usually in the description if you're on Etsy or something like that. So these are actually ones I've gotten with different button kits before. I think I've got about 5 more of them. And I pulled them out because I can't get my main screwdriver down in this hole right here on a Miyoo Mini or Miyoo Mini Plus. That's not the right one. This one here is for an Anbernic device. There we go. These devices are pretty sturdy. Shouldn't have any issues. Sometimes you will get the screws where they'll just get stuck in there where you're not going to be able to get... Oh, that one didn't come out. Or they won't come out. We're just going to pull our screws out here. And it pops right off. Sometimes they are a little stuck the first time you do it. Not always, but every once in a while they are a little stuck. But yeah, it should just basically come right out like that. Now this is where you might want to use a smudging tool. If I can figure out where I put it. These here, there's little tabs. There's 4 of them. You also need to take off this ribbon cable here, which is what I grabbed this for. And you just gotta go like that. And then I typically, you can do this with your fingers if you want, but I usually just use this and kind of give it a little shake and she comes right out. Now as far as these go, you just gotta kind of pop it back a little bit. And it's easiest to get in kind of right around the edges here. So right there, popped up. Right there, popped up. And then you should be able to slide the board out toward this direction so the other ones will come off that way. As you can see, my volume button already popped off. Here is your power button. This kit that I have right now, I don't believe came with a volume and power button, but I will show you kind of how to put them back in anyways, because it's going to be part of that process. So we have our kit here. Maybe. There we go. So yeah, this one doesn't look like it has a power and volume button. It's just going to be our face buttons and our D-pad. So this is a Miyoo Mini Plus button pack, and it is from ToyRobotShop. So that's what we're going to be putting on today. The other Etsy group that I get a lot of buttons from is Cloud Life. So this is their thing. This one's for Miyoo Mini Plus as well. I also got these from Cloud Life. I'm kind of hoping that when the H comes, mine's been stuck in customs for 6 days, 7 days now. When it shows up, I'm hoping either these buttons will swap to it, or they're going to make some separate buttons for the H, for the face button part anyways. Because it would be pretty sweet to get some buttons on that thing. I did order a black one, because Anbernic doesn't know how to make a purple device. And if you don't believe me, you take your Miyoo Mini Plus here, and you put it up against the 35XX, and you tell me which one of these 2 things is purple. On the real. We even add some light behind them. Their devices just are not purple. It's not... It's really kind of embarrassing. Alright, so we have everything opened up here. This is where all your buttons are. So your face buttons are down here. So if you need to remove any of these, I usually use the tweezers to pull out the old ones. Just something I've always done. You don't need to. You can really just dump them out if you wanted to. And then you do have your other buttons here, which we are not going to be replacing, but they are located right here. If I can see, maybe I shouldn't use the tweezers, maybe it'd be easier. All right, here's your motor. This is your vibration motor. So this here's your speaker, and this is just taped in. One thing you do need to do when you do replace the speaker, though, is there's these little tabs on top of them. And if you do decide to do a speaker upgrade, they're only about $7. You just pop these tabs up. And that's what's going to give it contact when you put it in to the board here. So if you look at how the board is set up, these here are your speaker posts right here. And those just need to touch that. So they just need to be up high enough where they touch this. And if you put them up too high, it's okay, because it's just going to push them down anyways. Not a big deal. All right, so now we just need to do these bad boys. Oh no! It ran away. I didn't think it was going to pop right out of there. Look at that. That's pretty fancy. I've never gotten these buttons before, so these are going to be new for me. So you just put your buttons right on in. I usually try to double check. Sometimes there's one that'll be like a little off, but you just want to make sure, and then if you have to, you'll sand them. They're getting really good at making these now, though, so you don't often have to do that. Also, what I don't have with me right now is an alcohol wipe. What I usually do is clean these off with an alcohol wipe, because that's what makes these spin and stick. Just to kind of, but these are brand new, so it doesn't really matter. And then you just look for these two posts right here. This one here is your screw hole. As you can tell, there's screws in there. So you just go like that. And like that. I gave up on my tweezers. It happened. And now we're in. So now all we need to do is put our board back on. Right? So make sure that this cable right here is coming through so that we're able to put it into here. Now if you're doing something like a Miyoo Mini, it's a little different because you pop it from the other side. It's a white topper. You pop it from the other side. If you're doing an Anbernic, like this bad boy right here, it's pretty much the exact same process I'm doing right now, except for the screen cable on those, instead of coming up off the side here, it actually is located right here. And it'll just come up right through the middle. And then we put this bad boy back in. And again, I would just kind of do it at a little bit of an angle just until I get everything lined up. And then if you want to use your smudging tool, you can. Otherwise, you can push them down. I don't want to break it, so I am going to use a smudging tool just to kind of give it a little bit of separation here. Just like that, right? So it's all in there. So now that we got this all here, we're making sure our buttons work. Good deal, they work. So now that that's done, we're going to put our cable back in. This works best with the tweezers. You can do it with your hands if you want to. You do want to make sure it is seated tightly though. And so what I typically do is use the bigger tweezers like this. There are two little tabs on the outside so you can kind of get to them and just kind of make sure it's in there. And once you know that it's in there, close the top. Now if she's in there, everything's good to go. That makes sure our screen works. Now we're going to put our power button back in. There is actually a right and a wrong way to put these in. But if you look at the shape here, it's actually not perfect. So it actually has a cutout for the direction that these sit in here. So that'll tap right on there. And then with these, you do have a plus and minus on your volume keys. So you just look at this and look for your plus and minus on them. So plus just goes up to the top, minus on the bottom. I like to push on them just to make sure that they're clicking. Yep, everything's good, so everything's lined up. Put this back on. I might do one for shoulder buttons at one point in time. For these shoulder buttons, maybe I'll do a better back button one at some point. I don't have any right now. I used to do better back buttons, but I was having issues with them. And so I do have some like on here. These ones are okay, but they kind of get a little loose after a while. So I don't know what that's all about, but I do use that device quite a bit. That's one of my daily drivers right there. So it gets a lot of use. When you do put your screws back in, you don't want to put them in all in one spot at a time. You do want to kind of separate it out a little bit. So like you kind of want to go corner to corner. I just put that one in there just to make sure nothing was moving around. You do have those buttons on the side, so you don't want them to fall out while you're doing this. But so this one's tight now, and then I'll actually tighten this one. Okay, and then I will go to this corner over here. Make sure she's tight, and I go back over to this corner over here. Oh. And then when you do tighten them, you do want to back them off about, I don't know, a 1/16 of a turn or so. If you do them too tight, it kind of screws with the screen a little bit, from my understanding. I guess I've never had an issue because I've always done it that way, like the right way, but I know if you look at some of the devices like the R36, is it the R36S or R35S? It's on too tight to begin with, so all you have to do is back the screws out and everything actually works better as far as the buttons go. So, okay. So, just to make sure again that everything is on here. Oh, these feel nice. Feel very nice. Then you want to put in your battery, which all you got to do is go down here, kind of get her lined up. And then I like to use my tweezers just to push it in. Now, if you notice, these ones have a white end on them. These ones are actually porcelain ends so that they don't have any problems with electricity. So just a thought. But put that in, put your back cover back on. Thankfully, the Miyoo Mini Plus covers fit a lot better than the Miyoo Minis did. Put your game card back in. Hope it doesn't shoot across the room. We're going to start her up and just make sure she works. Yeah, maybe I will put some black buttons on the back just to, and maybe the side ones too, just to kind of ghost her out a little bit more. We're going to give this game a shot here, just make sure everything's working. I wonder if these fit right in there. Look at that. That's pretty nifty. Yep, volume works. Yep, she's all working. Notice we get no screen tearing on this, unlike some of those lesser expensive devices. I mean, obviously this one's not very expensive either, but buttons feel nice. Probably should have picked something with more button usage, but looks good. Everything works. They feel good. I got no complaints. That's how you do it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. Hopefully this video will just kind of wrap everything up, but if you do have questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll try to answer them for you, but that's all I got for you today. So don't forget to comment, rate if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and share this video with your friends, because sharing helps grow the channel, and we can use all the help that we can get over here. Thanks for watching. Bye! Oh, you're still here. Well, I'm just cleaning off the fingerprints on my screen so that I can get on to making the next video. If you liked what you saw, do me a favor. There's a little subscribe button floating around. Why don't you hit that bad boy? Also, check out one of these other videos that YouTube seems to think that you're going to like. Thanks for watching. I'm out.